think in talking about zone offense, you're talking about one of the basketball areas that is lagged behind in terms of development of our philosophy. It seems like almost every basketball coach in this country is very, very proud of his man-to-man offense. And there aren't many that really feel strongly that they have the answer to how to attack zone defenses. So what we're going to talk about here today is something a little bit unique because it's a way to attack all zone defenses, and yet you always use the same offense. It's a zone offense to use against every imaginable kind of zone defense. And so the teaching possibilities are tremendous, that you only have to teach one thing. You can do a lot better job teaching it, and therefore your zone offense will keep improving all season long. You won't have to keep coming up with new plays or new ideas. So that's basically the philosophy behind this offense. Just a couple of things before we begin that I think you should be aware of. Number one is that the zone defense is weak against the fast break. That the fast break is the number one way that I would recommend that you try to attack zone defenses. Now, we're not going to talk about the fast break here as such, but I just think you should give that a little bit of thought, because if you think about a defensive team retreating back into the defensive end, and if they're playing man-to-man, the way you commonly teach that, you teach them to retreat into the paint or the lane and then find their man. So that would be man-to-man. If you're teaching zone, you'd teach them to retreat back into the paint and then find their zone. Now, which of those two should be easiest to teach? Going back into the paint and find your man, or going back and finding your zone? Well, the answer, if you think about it, is pretty obvious. It should be easier to find your zone, because your zone will never shift. You're always playing the same zone. Whereas your man, one time he comes down the right side, next time he's down the left, next time he's down the middle, then they got a sub in. There are lots of variables in trying to find your man. And yet, at the same time, we say zone defenses are weak against the fast break. So I think the only real reason behind that is because zone defensive coaches don't do as good a job at teaching transition basketball. That man-to-man defensive coaches usually do a much better job teaching you how to get back, get to your man, talk, ball man, and so on. So while the zone defense is weak against the fast break, I don't see any reason why it should be. So I would recommend that as the first point of attack in terms of attacking a zone defense, is the fast break. Now the zone defense is set, meaning they are back in position as you bring the ball down the court. Once the zone defense is set, the zone defense has the advantage, because they are in position where they want to be. If you're the man-to-man or the coach coaching the offensive team, what can you do now to take away the defensive team's advantage? Well, basically, I would say the philosophy would be as follows, that you do two things to try to take away the defense's advantage. One is you overload the zone. And the second one is you spread the zone. And so any good zone offense should have those two principles in it. You should overload and spread, and you should do it at the same time. You should have in your offense the ability to overload, to spread, and to overload, and that's what we call the continuity of your offense. The ability to overload and spread and overload and spread, and all the time you're looking to do the most important thing against zone defenses, and that is penetrate. So when you look at this zone offense today, what we're going to try to do is show you how to overload, spread, and overload. At the same time, remember that we're looking to penetrate, and the two basic ways to penetrate are with the dribble penetration, or with the passing penetration. There are three criteria that I would recommend that you look at in setting up what would be your zone offense. Number one is it simple? Can you run it against all types of zone defenses? Combinations are very big today. The matchups, the box and ones, defenses that have some man-to-man and some zone principles within the same framework. The second thing is, does your zone offense provide for specialization? Because the lower the level, the lower the skill level of the team that you're teaching, the more you must specialize, where you might have only one kid that can shoot, you might only have one player that can dribble, you might only have one good rebounder, you might have a couple kids that can't pass. That you're going to have to teach certain things. So can you, in the framework of this zone offense, allow for specialization? And those are the things that I would recommend. There are lots of other zone offenses that you could use. And I wouldn't lay any claims that this is the best zone offense going. But what I would say about it is that I know it the best. And it's important to you as a coach that you teach what you know. And you try to find, if you're going to be in coaching as any kind of a profession or a hobby, whatever the case may be, try to find an offense that you just get inside of and you understand. First of all, we'll number the positions very simply. And let's establish our personnel at the same time that we think about this. If I'm a high school coach, I think, in setting up my offense, there are two basic things that I would think about first. You got to think about your ball handling and who's going to get the ball where you want it. But really, probably your most important position in the zone offense is your 5 position. Because if you're going to penetrate the zone defense, then who are you going to get it to? And you're talking about getting the ball inside, in the paint area right here. And if you get it in there to a player, can he do something with it? So if I were evaluating talent, I would say, okay, who do we have on our team who can do something with it once they get the ball in there? And so that's what I would look for in the 5 position. It's really called a center in most cases, but we call it the post player. And on the post, we want somebody who can catch it in the paint and do something with it. Then the second player, I would look for the point guard or my ball handling guard. And that is the person who has got to get it from the defensive end to the offensive end, and then either run your fast break if you're going to be a fast breaking team, and then secondly, to get your offense established. There's an awful lot of learning involved in that position right here. So that is a very important position to your zone offense, I would say. The next thing I always look for is my next best rebounder. And if I were establishing a high school team, I would say, okay, if my 5-man is also my best rebounder, which is often the case, the person that's good in the paint is usually pretty agile, should be able to go after loose balls and have pretty good hands, I would put my next best rebounder in the lineup. And so I would look hard for that. And I would call him just the rebounder, the 4 player, the power forward on most teams, your 4. And then the next player I would look for is my best outside shooter. You really, to beat zones, you do need some outside shooting capability. I don't think you should base your whole zone offense on that, but I think you should have somebody that can shoot an outside shot. So we would call that the shooting guard or the second guard position. And then the last position, the 3-man, as I started in my high school coaching career, the 3 is where I always had to play the superintendent's son. In some cases, the 3 was the son of the president of the school board. And I laugh about that, but in my high school coaching career, I did have 2 superintendent's sons that played for me, and they both just happened to be 3-men. Our 3-man this year, as you know, is a pretty talented athlete. So the better your 3, the stronger your team is going to be, because the 3 is your third guard or your small forward, depending on each particular year. And then if you're in a high school situation where you're not so talented and you've gone through your other 4 and you're really searching who to put at your 3, then that's a sign of weakness, that you don't have very good depth. Okay, so I would call that my third guard probably, because I think that's most realistic as you set up your teams. It's a rare team that's got 3 good big guys that you want to get in the lineup all at the same time. So that's basically how I would establish my personnel. Now what I would like to try to do is just show you on the board how we would run our continuity to get the ball swung from side to side of the court. And let's see if we can just start at this diagram and work right across the board. First thing, there are a couple of things that we teach that are a little bit different, and one is that we want to attack from inside the free throw line extended. As a zone defensive coach will tell you that when the ball's out front here, the defense is at its strongest point. And the more you bring the ball to the one side or the other, the more you force the zone defense to tilt. And then you have a better chance to expose any weaknesses that they might have within the framework of that zone defense. So we would like our 1 guard to attack inside the free throw line extended. And we will start the offense in most cases with the 3 and the 5 stacked on the block. So the 5 would be on the box, or perhaps slightly above here. The 3 would be below the 5. And the rebounder would be on the weak side, below the block, and our second guard right at the top of the circle. So that would be our starting position. 1 inside the free throw line extended, 2 3, 5, and 4 in the rebound position. Now, on the first penetration, if you remember, we talked about the fact that you want to overload the zone. On our first penetration pass, we're going to bring about the overload of the zone defense. So 3 is going to pop out to the corner at the same time that 5 is working this gap in the middle of the zone. Because anytime you can pass the ball from 1 into 5, 2 into 5, whoever can get it into 5 inside, that's what you're trying to bring about in your zone offense. So you're not going to be able to throw that pass very often on this first penetration because the zone is still at its strength. So let's throw the ball down into the corner to 3. And 5 then is going to drop below the block. And nothing is open. Let's go through the first time on the swing of the ball. Let's swing the ball right around the perimeter with nothing being open inside. We would constantly be looking for the jump shot, looking for the drive, or looking to pass the ball inside. But let's say that there's nothing open at this time. 3 throws the ball back to 1. What you had when you had 3 have the ball down here in the corner was you had an extreme overload here on the right-hand side of the court. That you've now forced that zone defense to shift to its maximum. What most coaches will tell you is the fact that when the ball is in the corner, zone defenses all look alike. So when you get that ball down there, it doesn't matter so much what that zone defense started in. Once it gets down into the corner, they will all flatten out and pretty much have the same look to them. And what we want to see is, can they cover the baseline bounce pass from 3 to 5? And we'll come back to that in a little bit. So 3 goes back to 1 with the ball. So we've overloaded, and now we're going to try to spread. So 3 back to 1 with the ball, 1 over to 2 with the basketball, and again, at the same time, 5 is rotating across the post, looking to see if he's open. As 3 gave the ball up, he starts to shuffle the baseline. And he is going to go over to this other corner of the court, and he's just going to shuffle through straight across the baseline. As the ball comes to 2, 4 pops out to a position about 1 stride off the corner of the free throw line. And what he's really doing is splitting where 2 is with the ball and the corner where 3 is going to appear. So you go to a spread by getting the ball to 2, and now you're going to take the ball over to the other side of the court, because what you'll find is zone defenses are not equally strong on both sides of the court. They don't rotate and shift as smoothly to the right as to the left. And some nights it'll be just the opposite. You just can't dictate, but depending on where their weaknesses in personnel, they will not shift quite as well. So 2 goes to 4 with this pass. And 4, of course, again looking inside, but nothing's open. 4 is going right down to 3 in the corner with the pass. And now we've overloaded on the left-hand side of the court. Now as 4 throws the ball to 3, there's some player movement that has to take place. As he throws to 3, he is going to cut straight through to the basket. 5 is going to be below the block and is going to roll through low. And 1 is going to sprint straight across the lane. Now let's clean that up a little bit. Let's just take a look at another diagram and see if I can explain that a little more clearly. As 4, and we'll just put 3 people on here. As 4 throws the ball to 3, he cuts through to the basket. And what he's doing is trying to identify this zone defensive player right there and make that zone defensive player make a decision. Does he pick up 4 as he cuts through? 4 cuts through, and he's got the possibility of knifing back and trying to catch a little pass in there from 3. And so we're going in and we're attacking that particular area of the zone. Doesn't matter what zone it is. At the same time, 5 is going to roll through low right to that block. And so we're challenging this defensive player right here with 5 coming through low, trying to look for this pass. Or if he plays him, 4 going through and doubling back, trying to look for this pass. At the same time, 1 is going to sprint straight across the court and take that angle. Okay? So when we complete that movement, we're right back where we started with our personnel, except everybody's on the other side of the court. We got the 1 here, we got the 3 down here in the corner with the ball, 5 on the block, 4 2 at the top of the circle. So you're now set up on the left-hand side of the court in exact same positions. And part of the reason for doing that is because of the specialization, because you can cut your teaching down in terms of how to get out of corner traps. If 3 is the only person you put in the corner, then he's really the only person that has the vulnerability to be trapped at any time. And he has got to be taught how to split the trap, how to pass out of it, what to look for, how to make the baseline pass, and so on. So we've moved it from one side to the other. Now let's take it to the other side of the court. And once you have that, that's the only difficult part to the movement in this zone offense. 3 to 1, 1 to 2 at the top of the circle, 4 steps out to 1 spot, 1 step off the free throw line extended, 2 over to 4, 3 of course is shuffling the baseline, 4 down to 3, and 4 is going to cut through to the basket. So 4 is going to throw and cut through to the basket. 5 is going to roll through low. Just to isolate those positions again, 4 throws and cuts through. 5 rolls through low, and again you're isolating on this guy in the zone defense. This other guy was pretty good. How's the guy that's going to defend it over here? Can we get him on the low side? Can we get him on the high side? How strong is the guy going out and getting 3 in the corner over here? He's a big, slow guy. This guy was a good, quick defender. Maybe 3 can drive on him over there. And so that's what you're trying to do. So 4 will throw and cut through and go right into the box where he was to start with. 1 sprints across the court. 2 remains at the top of the circle. And you're right where you started your offense from. And you've now overloaded again on the right. So just to review what you've done, you've overloaded, you've spread, you've overloaded, you've spread, you've overloaded. Now really, if the defense is fairly passive and fairly soft in there, that will take you about 7 seconds to go corner to corner. To go over to this corner and back to this corner, it'll only take you 7 seconds. And you gain an awful lot of knowledge in doing that, because you get a pretty good picture of how the defense is shifting. What kind of a defense really is it? Because if it's a 1-2-2, there are all different kinds of 1-2-2s. If it's a 2-3, there's a triangle in 2 that looks like a 2-3. There's a 1-1-3 that looks like a 2-3. There's an extreme matchup that looks like a 2-3. How are they playing you? And by swinging the ball, you have a better chance to figure that out. Now let's just repeat that process one time and make sure we have it as far as the swing of the basketball. 3 to 1 with the pass. 1 over to 2. Overload, spread, looking to dribble, penetrate. 4 steps out. 2 to 4 with the pass. 3 shuffles the baseline. 4 down to 3 with the pass. And as 4 makes the pass, he cuts through to the basket. 5 rolls through low. Seeing who can get open in that area. Nothing is there. One has sprinted across the center of the court to this position, and 2 remains at the top. And then we repeat the process coming back. So I think in concluding this part on the zone offense, I would recommend to you that to understand it, the first thing is just to get a feeling for the continuity, to diagram it a few times and to get an understanding of how you're spreading, overloading, and spreading and bringing the ball back. Get the basic concept, the whole method, which is, I guess, the way we try to teach. We'll try to teach the players the whole offense first. And then we will gradually break it down and take 5 or 6 weeks to break it down on how to make the pass or how to receive the ball. So to a coach, that's what I would recommend. You get the idea of the whole offense first, and then gradually break it down from pass to pass. Well, on this pass, how do you teach this movement, and how do you go from there? And some of that stuff we will pick up on the court. What we'd like to do now here on the court is walk through the zone offense with our personnel established. So just to review, here with the ball we have our 1-man or our point guard. Our 5-man is in the middle here at the top of the stack in the high post. Our rebounder or our power forward on the weak side. Our best shooter at the top of the circle. And our superintendent's son
down here underneath the post, or our three-man, third guard, or small forward, depending on your particular team. So let's just walk through the continuity of the zone offense, and I'll just sort of teach it here to our team the same way that I would teach it if we were starting practice. We want the point guard, you remember, to dribble penetrate, and he may have to come over at the end of the fast break, or he may have to hesitate a little bit to get his players organized if it was a scramble situation or if the rebound came out. But what we would like our point guard to do is to know where the free throw line extended is, and we'd like him to be inside the free throw line extended and attacking the basket head on. And as he starts to dribble penetrate, the three-man is going to pop out to the corner and turn and face the basket, and he goes as far out as he has to go to catch the basketball. At the same time, the five can pop up the post. He can come into this post area to call for the pass. If he is open or if he sees there's a gap in the zone, he can go opposite the ball at any time. And he, of course, should try to go in there in a good aggressive position so he encourages the receiver or the passer to throw him the basketball. So that would be going on at the same time. 2's at the top of the circle, and the 4 is inside the block on the weak side. And so the perimeter position should be go as far out as you have to catch the pass. If the defense is aggressive, you have to go further out. If the defense is real passive and sagging in there, you can pinch in where you're going to become a better outside shot. Now let's just swing the ball one time and we'll walk through it slowly. Let's take the ball, let's start with it, BJ, down into the three-man here and take it into our extreme overload. And then the 5 is going to go low and see if we can get this baseline pass in to the 5-man down low. But on this first swing of the ball, let's assume that the 5-man is not open on the first swing of the ball. But look in, he's not there. Pop up to see if he's open, but he's not there, and let's go on with a swing. So we've gone from an overload down here in the corner, and now we're going to swing it back and spread it. So the 1 over to the 2 at the top, and just hold it right there. Now what you've spread the zone again, where you had him overloaded, and now we've spread the zone, and we're seeing if we can pop it in on a pass or dribble penetration or certainly the outside shot. And then the 4-man, where we'd really like the 4 is to stay in here until the ball swings to the 2. And then as he comes out, he's going to come out at a spot that's halfway between the 2-man with the ball and the 3-man coming through in the corner. So it's usually about 1 good stride off that free throw line. Right about into here is where the 4-man should be. And some nights he'd be a little deeper. Some nights he'd have to come out further, depending on how aggressive the guard is. So let's say our 4-man catches the ball right about here. That's happening. The 3-man is shuffling the baseline, going through to the opposite side. Side, nothing there. Pass goes down into the 3. On that pass, 4 is going to cut through to the basket, and if he thinks he can get himself open, he will stop and seal and look for the pass inside. At the same time, 5's rules are that he should stay over here and rebound the ball. He should stay here and rebound the basketball in case 3 is going to shoot the jump shot. Because if he shoots, you're the primary rebounder, so he should have his hands up ready to step in and screen. But if 3 does not shoot the basketball, just slight hesitation, he's going to roll through low down here as 4 is coming through. And of course what 3 and 4, or what 4 and 5 are trying to do is on this zone defensive guy. At the same time, 1 sprints across the court and he replaces himself on the other side of the court. So now you have 1, 2, you have corner, 5's at the post, 4's inside. You're right back where you started, but on the left-hand side of the court, and you've overloaded the zone to its maximum down here. Now let's just walk it back and go to the other side very slowly. Back over to 1 with the ball, over to 2 at the top. 4 steps out, 3 is shuffling the baseline right there. Now on this pass down, here comes 5, there goes 4, looking inside, and here comes 1 across, and you're right back where you started. Okay. Let's just start and go through this once again. The 1-man has the ball, 3 has come through in the corner, and as we pass the ball down into 3, what we're really doing is reading on our 5 in the low post. How is this zone defender playing 5? Is he fronting him? Is he in a total front position? If so, then we would look skip pass from the 3 right to the 2 at the top of the circle. He would try to hold this position and step into the gap very hard looking for that ball and make a good strong move toward 2. To go from a seal, where this guy is fronting him on the skip pass, you just seal him and you look to pop right into the middle and come in and receive the pass for the score. Okay? So what we're really trying to read is how the guy is playing your 5 player as the ball's in the corner. So let's go through with this group just a little quicker this time, and corner to corner, just sort of like half speed. All right? Ready? Here we go. Just go ahead. Play it. Over to the 2. 4 steps out. Down to 3. All right, make your move. All right, let's swing it back. Pick it up a little bit now. Here we go. Bring it back. Cutting through. Okay, once more. Let's just swing it back. Over to Lance. Cut through. That's it. All right, here we go. Making his move through and bringing it back. Here we go. Okay. All right, hold it right there. Now, what we're trying to look for is the penetration. So you got 2 ways to penetrate: the dribble penetration at any position on the court, or your passing penetration. Your primary receiver is this guy right here, your best inside offensive player. But it could be the 4 as he makes his pass and cuts through, or it could be the 3 posting up. You can do some different things within that, but you're trying to penetrate. Next thing we want to talk about is if they overplay positions. There are a couple things you have to think about. Is if this zone defensive guard, if the one man has the ball there, and this defensive guard starts to jump this passing lane, well, his rule is any time that you can't get the pass, just extend straight out, keep moving out. Now, if the defensive guard comes out even further, what you've done is you've made it possible for the skip pass. So if these guards extend on this, the 4-man would just pop right up, and we would skip pass from 1 straight across to 4, 3 shuffle the baseline, and you'd stay right with the continuity of the offense. So anytime that you're overplayed, the idea is to skip pass, all right? For example, 2-man has the ball right here. Bring it back to the top. And they overplay 4. He should step out further. By that time, 3 should be across. Skip pass right down into 3. Go on with the offense. 4 goes through, 1 goes across. Same thing right there. Hold it in the corner. They overplay the 1, or they trap him in the corner. Skip pass out to 2, and stay right in the framework of the offense. So any time that you're overplayed, step out further, call for the ball, and stay within the framework of the offense. Okay? The next thing we want to show is on the pass. Let's say that the 2-player has the ball here at the top of the circle, and the defensive team is allowing the 5 to get open in the middle of the lane. Lester pops up in here to the paint, and he's open in there. But this zone defender is playing with his hands up and moving, and you can't get the high pass in there. The zone defenders in here have got their hands up, and so any kind of a high pass they're going to deflect. And what we have found is we've been able to get the bounce pass to this guy popping into the paint if we can teach the player how to execute this particular bounce pass. So we want to talk about that. How do we teach this player how to throw this bounce pass in particular in the framework of the zone offense? Now the other pass is when the 3 has the ball down in the corner, get below the block here, our 5 players below the block, right about into here, and they're playing on the high side. Now you've got a good pass here to make on the baseline because there's no guard help. The guard is totally out of this play. So how do we teach this player to make this bounce pass? Well, it's the exact same pass. This pass and the pass at the top are the exact same pass. So let's talk a little bit about making the pass. Let's teach it from the 2 position out here at the top, and 5 comes right into the paint here, Lester. Be a receiver right into there. Now, I think there are a couple things that we have had to teach. Number 1 is that the zone defense usually plays with their hands up and moving. So they'll get their hands up and they'll be waving their hands at the top, and they'll give you a tough target to throw around. And I think the best way that we've had to throw that pass is that you step. Let's say that Lester's left hand is open right into there. As he steps into the lane, there's a slight gap. The passer steps in the direction of the receiver's open hand. Let's start with it again. He steps in that direction, and then he throws the ball opposite the defender's hands. And in most cases, the defender's hands are going to be high, and so that's where the bounce pass really got started. Okay? So you step in the direction of the open hand, and then you throw the ball. Let's bring it back. You throw the ball opposite the defender's hands. So if we can teach that passer to keep the ball down here in an aggressive position, not put it above his head, keep it down here in an aggressive position so he steps and throws all in one motion. Let's just do that again. Step and throw all in one motion. And what we'd like to teach him to do is to release the ball from his knee. The higher he releases that pass, release that pass from your waist there once, Lance. As he releases it from the waist, you notice it comes to the receiver's waist. Release it from your shoulder once, Lance. As he releases it to the shoulder, it's going to come up to the shoulder. But if he steps and releases from off of his knee, then it's going to come up to Lester's knee. If Lester reaches out and meets the pass off his knee, you're going to catch it right there. If you sit back, that ball is going to come right into your waist. But if you step out, which is what we're looking for, the ball should be right off your knee. That's good. Step out and meet the pass right out into here as we make it. So this is what we call a two-man passing drill, where we try to teach the receiver to seal and the passer to work on his passing technique. Let's just see it once again, Lance. And so that's what we would work. We would work, if we were working with Lester, we'd work on him getting his hands out there, meeting the pass, rather than sitting back and letting the ball come to him. As you sit back, that's where the defense is going to come in and intercept or deflect the pass. But as you step out, you receive the pass as it's just starting up toward you, and that's where we want it. So we want the guy throwing the ball off his knee. We'd like the receiver stepping out and receiving it at about knee height. Let's just see that once again. Okay, that's better. And so you've got to teach your inside guy to be aggressive going for the pass. Now we would turn it into a three-man passing drill. We would bring in a third player. Rich, you'd be the third guy here. He'd be given token defense at the start. And this would give a little bit of a target. All right, let's just see that right there. And we would work on that pass. Just throw it back to him, Lester. We'll just work with Lance being the passer. And once again, and we want it a little lower. We'd like it released not from the waist, but as you step out, then the ball just gets extended right off your knee. Let's just see that once again. That's better. Right down into there. So just a normal step and release coming right off your knee. And that would be a three-man passing drill. Now we can turn that into a four-man passing drill. BJ, take Lester's right side away there. By putting him on the post, getting your hand up in the passing lane there, and we would again just do token defense at the start of the drill. But BJ would give Lester somebody to seal and to hold off without fouling, without knocking a guy away. And now the passer has two different people that he has to throw the ball around. But I think you can see why the bounce pass is a possible penetrating pass. Put your hands up there, Rich. And you see where BJ's hand is? Right up here in the passing lane in any high pass, you see Richie's hands right into there, and you can see that the best place to throw the penetrating pass is right down into there. It's the hardest place for him to get to with his hand. It's the hardest place for him to get to with his hands. It's a penetrating pass. I'm not sure the bounce pass is such a great pass in passing around the perimeter, but it's a pass that we would try to use in penetration. So we would start this drill with the two-man drill. Just step out of there, BJ and Rich. We would start with a two-man drill, and we would just work on the pass. Then we would add in the third man and turn it into a three-man drill, and then we would add in the fourth man, and we would run a four-man passing drill working on this particular passing technique within the framework of the zone offense. Okay? And that pass, if you took that pass and put it down on the baseline, you would have exactly what we were talking about. Now let's just start again with the zone offense in our positions. I think one of the other things that you try to do is, as you run your continuity, you go from corner to corner and you spread the zone defense out. One of the other things that you try to do are come with counters or plays to take advantage of what the opponent is doing. One of the plays we would run, for example, instead of bringing four out of there, we would try to run something where four can stay down and seal on the weak side. And so we just call this switch. So our three-man on the stack here, him at the stack and breaking out to this corner, we would sprint him out to a point opposite the free throw line, extended over there, and we would hold four. We would seal four down in there. And if three's a pretty good shooter, which you'll have sometime, we will look for a quick jump shot. Now the one man dribbles it in and looks, spins the ball in a hurry over to three, and right there you've got your jump shot, or you've got four sealing. Whereas before he was popping out, the zone coverage was used to him popping out. All of a sudden you have him sealing and looking for the inside dump. Or the skip pass back, quick skip pass back over to the other side, and your five-man sealing down inside. So that would be a jump shot option, or it would be a change in the continuity, or a reverse of the direction of the offense. Anything to change up what you're doing within the framework of the offense. Another option we would look at is what we call an extreme overload play, where against some particular defenses, 1-3-1s, for example, if this corner is open down into here, we would break Lester up into the high post, our five-man, and we would hold him up in the high post. And this time on the pass down into the corner, as we'll hold him at the high post instead of drop him down. We've been dropping him down. All of a sudden we hold him, and we bring the four player across from the weak side, and we try to hit him down low. And what that does is a change. 4's been stepping out. 4's been stepping out. All of a sudden we come down into here, 5 goes high and stays, and we bring 4 across. So anything you can do to change the direction of your offense will cause the defenses a lot of problems. So you want to have some changes of direction or emphasis within the framework of your zone offense, and we try to bring that about with particular plays. A third play that I would show you, just to give you a little bit of a look, is what we call Y. Take it back to the initial set. This time, let's just take the 3-man all the way over to the opposite corner, way over on the baseline in the opposite corner. And we would just, as we see this set, we would go over to 2 with the ball, and a 4 is going to seal all the way down into the corner to Scott. And on that play, the 1-man, we'll drift the 1-man down to this corner. And now you're looking low on the baseline. You can go back to the 2. You can see where we spread. We've got 4 guys right on the baseline, and it gives the zone or the matchup or whatever it is kind of a unique look. Dump inside to the post. Or the first time that we get the ball, probably the pass that we will look for most is the long skip pass all the way across to BJ on the other side. So he's got to throw the ball right over the backboard and the rim. Now the 5-man seals down into here. 1 is looking for the jump shot or the dump down inside, and you play this little 3-man game. So he can go back to the 2. At the top, it's a good play for him to, if your 2 player is aggressive and a good dribble penetrator, you've got that zone so flattened out and spread out that it's a good play for that 2 player to dribble penetrate. Okay, let's just review a couple things. First of all, we'll try to use the zone offense not just as an attack against drop-back zones, but against extended zones. An extended zone might be a 1-3-1 trap that picks you up at the half-court area. It might be a 3-quarter court 2-2-1 pressure. It could even be further up than that, or certainly any variation in between. So the formation we'd look for is this. As the 1-man dribble penetrates and brings it down, he should really see his zone offense with the 5-player high in the post, roughly at a 45-degree angle, with the 3-player right up the sideline, so he's got a good sideline pass, and he would like the 2 at a 45-degree angle behind the ball. The only exception to that would, of course, be just cross the 10-second line, because then he is going to have to be across the 10-second line himself, and so your spacing is going to be a little different. But really, you're looking for the same things, the same passing lanes then against this extended defense that you would in your regular zone offense. He's got skip passes. If the near passes are being taken away, he's got his 5-player popping into the post, calling for the ball, and he's got the same continuity. So if he throws the ball from 1 over to 2 at the top of the circle, 4 knows that he pops out, 3 knows that he's going to shuffle the baseline and go through on the weak side. And yet you're really attacking pressure defense, but it gives you a little bit of a start in terms of a formation. 5 knows what he's doing going opposite the ball. So we would use this same attack against 3-quarter court defenses, half-court defenses, as well as drop back. And then, of course, as the defense retreats, we would go into our regular zone offense. And we've got a defense out there to give you some idea of what we would be looking for if we were running this live going against a defense. Okay? So as the 3 pops out to receive the pass in the corner, go ahead and pass it down, Beach, and we'll look for the 5-man to seal and see if we've got anything inside. Now what we're really reading is how is the defensive guy playing our post. There he's on the baseline side, head and hand in a passing lane. Put your hand in there, Lester, with guard help. So we've got a guard dropping down and taking that pass away. So on the pass back to the 1-man, the 1-man noticed that and saw that the guard was responsible. So in this pass back, can he get the ball to the 5-man? Well, put it back in the 3, for example. If the 1-man saw that, he should pinch in as close to the basket as they'll allow him to receive it. So now when he receives it back, he's either got a shot, this man's got to come hard, or he's got a little bit better passing angle. Back up again, Beach. So nothing is there. Let's say we swing it now over to the 2, and the defense is either matching up or they could be playing a straight 2-3 zone, and they've taken away the shot by the 2. He goes over to the 4 with the ball. Again, he's looking to shoot the ball. 3-man is shuffling the baseline, going to the opposite side. Nothing's open there at the 4. We go to the 3, and the 4 makes his cut-through move. The 5 rolls through low, and here the 5 could be open down inside. And let's say he shuts him down there. Let's just walk through swinging it back. Now back to 1, over to 2. 4 steps out looking for his shot because that might be the weakness right there. Now we look for baseline drive because they bump down, and maybe we had a chance to make the baseline drive. As 4 cuts through, he's reading. Does he have something if he doubles back? Can he seal? If the 5-man comes and gets him, maybe our 5-man is going to be open low coming through. So that's what we would be looking for. That'll take about 7 seconds to go over to that corner and back the first time if they're playing as soft and passive as this goal defensive team is right now. So we could do that twice really in 14 seconds against a drop back zone. And what you're really trying to read is, where is the best jump shot? Or do you have a penetrating possibility, and can you take advantage of that as you go through? Let's just walk through it once more. 1 man has the ball. Just play it right from there. Over to 2. Nothing's open. Over to 4. Down to 3. And the inside, there goes 4 and 5, making their move. Back to 1. Over to 2. 4 steps out. And here's a 5, looking for his baseline drive, looking for him low, reading him in here. Okay, and we're looking jump shot threat at all times. So the more you pass the ball, the more you're looking for your jump shot. The more the defense sags, the more you're looking jump shot. The more they come out and attack you on the perimeter, the more you're looking drive, the more you're looking penetrating pass. But the softer they are, the tougher it's going to be to throw the ball through them, but the easier your jump shot is going to be from the outside. Okay? Any question? Let's just bring it back from the top here, and let's just walk through that once again, taking a good look. 5's not there. Bring it back to the top. Okay, over to the 2-man. There goes 4 stepping out, looking for his shot. Down to the 3 inside. And 1 going across. All right, let's bring it back. Here's a 4-man coming out. And we come down through. All right, now, when we talked about the change of direction or change of plays, every time we've run through this, the 4-man has been wide open here on both wings. But maybe he's on your ball club some years, he's not as good a shooter as somebody else. Or maybe he's not having a real good shooting night, and yet that's wide open. So that would be one time we would run what we call switch, where we would bring the ball down, we would send a 3-man over to that jump shot area on the weak side. Dribble 1 in, look at your post to see if he has it. On this play now, 4 is starting to seal on the weak side. Over to 2 for the jump shot, not open. Right over to 3, which is where that jump shot was, open for the small forward of the 3rd guard, who perhaps is your better outside shooter. At the same time, you got your 4-man sealing on the post. So he can read jump shot, or he can read dump down. Or we can skip pass back over to 1, and then he reads dump down or jump shot coming off of that play. So you read, as you run through your continuity, you're really reading to see how the defense is playing you. You see where the gaps are, and now what do we do to take advantage of it? If there's a shot there, who should we have shooting it? How can we get that shot for the best possible player? How can we get rebound position? Anytime the shot is taken, let's say we spin it over and we shoot it from the 3 over there, that ball is shot right from there. We want to rebound with 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1 is going to be back on defense. 2, 3, 4, and 5 are going to crash the boards. All right? Let's bring it back from the top. Now on the skip pass, when we talked about the skip pass, if they come out and aggressively play the ball, some teams will come out and play very, very hard on the ball and come out and deny this pass back to the 2 guard. All right? Now it might be a triangle and 2. This might be a triangle and 2. It might be a matchup. It could be just a 2-3 where they match up on the guards and give you a little bit different look. So a skip pass, let's start back over into here with a 3-man down low on this in our regular continuity. Anytime that you see that the next receiver is denied, we think skip pass. So in this case, it would be the 4 coming up out of there looking for the skip pass. And then we stay in the continuity. So 3 would be shuffling the baseline, looking for it. Everything else remains the same. Now, as the 3 gets the ball, he sees that 1 is denied on the return pass. We go match him up. Now he thinks skip pass. The 2-man, of course, would be the next guy available. Skip pass. And then we stay with the offense. And, of course, anytime after a skip pass, that's a good time to dribble penetrate. It's a good time to shoot it. It's a good time to pass penetrate and take it inside. Anytime following a skip pass, you get that zone pretty well extended. There's a good time to look hard for your penetration possibilities. So those would be a couple of variations that we would look for. Another variation in terms of change, let's bring the ball back here to the corner, is we just bring our 3-man out to the corner, bring our 5-player up into the high post area, and as we pass the ball down into the 3, pass the ball down into here. Now, hold it just a second over there, Brad. The 4-man has been staying on the block, popping out, popping out, popping out, and the 5-man has been rolling low. All of a sudden, you just make a little change inside. The 5-man stays high. He's used to identifying this guy, and then we bring the 4-player on low and try to establish baseline position. So it gives him 2 inside targets here off of the same play. And what we're really trying to do is take advantage of the zone starting to play the offense. And so you run the plays or the change of direction things to take advantage of any special things that the defense gives you. All right, let's just bring it back from the top and let's work on the continuity and look at the pass from 2 to 5. As we bring the ball down into the corner, and you just pop into there, Gare, and Lester fronts him. We bring the defensive guy and he gives him a total front. Or if he gives him on the baseline side with head and hand in a passing lane with guard help, we cannot throw this pass to him in either one of those possibilities, total front or baseline side with guard help. We cannot throw the pass. But what we should do immediately is think skip pass. We want to get it to 2 as quickly as we can when that is the case, because 5 has got this guy beaten. And then he pops right into that gap and we have him right there. Let's just walk through that again. Ball's in the corner. What the 3-man really does is read the defense. You read how the defense is defending on the post. Now, this guard here may be right in the passing lane. Slide up a little, Mike. He may be right in the passing lane. So then you've got to go to 1 over to 2, but you want to quickly. And then the same thing looking to your 5 inside. And what set this play up was how they were defending the post when the ball was in the extreme overload position or down in the corner. And then the better your offense is in terms of reading the defense, seeing how they're playing the post, that triggers what passes you're going to look for. Okay? So a tough pass to teach would be this pass. Over to 1, over to 2. Now most zone defensive guys, you see the 2-man here is doing a nice job making that pass, because this zone defensive player is going to have his hands up, going to come up on him, and play pretty aggressively. And so you've got to work on the bounce pass that we talked about before. Okay? So that's a little bit on the continuity and the live action of the offense. Let's just take it through corner to corner, one-time gold. We won't do this with any talking. What we would try to do in our zone defense is to talk and to move and to jump around, because that is really, it diverts the attention of the offensive team. But in this drill, we will just try to play your position so it's easy to see the openings and the movement of the offense, yet at the same time we've got bodies in there so that they can see the passing lanes. And black, let's just try to take the ball corner to corner, half speed, take a look inside, and bring it back over to this other side. Okay, here we go. Corner to corner, one time. Here we go. Nice and easy. Down to the 3. Cut through. That's good. Nothing there. Get it moving. Step up. Okay. And bring it back right there. Now that would have taken about 7 seconds to do that. Now let's try to do it twice this time from the top. And again, just take a good look at it. Pick up the tempo a little bit as we swing the ball from side to side. Let's start it with the 1-man here. All right, ready, go. Here we go. All right, keep it going. Let's go. Keep it going. Good job. That's it. Look inside. Good job. All right, hold it right there. Now, if you've done that twice, and the defense, you see the defense is all back in the paint, your perimeter players now should really start looking hard for the jump shot, because you've accomplished what you've wanted. You've looked inside. You've driven the zone right back into the paint. Now the 1-man should come across here and really be aggressive looking for that jump shot. The 2-man should pinch in and really be aggressive looking for that jump shot, because now it's an excellent time to look hard for that jump shot. You've moved the ball around, and there are no penetrating possibilities because the defense sags so hard. The other thing would be to look for is any kind of possibilities for your plays. Is the overload play going to work, or do you want to switch up for any unusual reasons to take advantage of the zone?